So today we are making a Black Forest cake, which is possibly the most popular chocolate and cherry dessert. It's got a few elements, but we'll put it all together. So stay with me, let's get started with the first element, which is the chocolate sponge. In a bowl here, I am going to combine some superfine sugar, vegetable oil, along with some yogurt. Now I am using homemade dahi. If you want, you could also make this recipe with hung curd or Greek yogurt. Or if you want to make it with eggs, you could completely substitute the yogurt with 4 whole eggs and mix them in one at a time. Also, I'm doing this recipe with my electric mixer, but if you want, you could simply use a balloon whisk. This looks good. Into this, I'm adding some milk, which is at room temperature, and let's mix this in as well. So the wet ingredients are ready. Now let's start sifting in the dry ingredients. I'm using maida, which is all-purpose flour, some cocoa powder, baking powder and baking soda. And now using my spatula, I am going to fold the dry ingredients in while keeping in mind to not overmix. So our batter is ready. Now if you want, you could use this batter to make 2 layers, but what I am going to do is divide this batter between 3 8-inch pans so that I get thin layers of chocolate cake that I can assemble later. And now these are ready for the oven in a preheated oven at 180 degrees Celsius for about 30 minutes. While the cakes are baking, let's work on the next element, which is our cherry syrup. This is what we'll use to soak our chocolate cake. In a saucepan set over medium heat, I'm adding some superfine sugar, some water, and 1 cup of fresh pitted cherries. I'm going to cook this until the sugar dissolves completely and the mixture comes to a boil. So my cherry syrup has come to a boil. I'm going to take this off the heat and strain it into a bowl. So I've put these cherries back into the saucepan because this is what I'm going to use to make our third element, which is the cherry filling. Now into this, I'm adding another cup of fresh cherries along with some sugar, corn flour, and some water. We are going to cook this until the cherries break down and the mixture becomes jammy and thick. Our cherry filling for the cake is ready. I'm going to put this off the heat, transfer it into another bowl and let this cool completely. Another element, which is the cherry filling, is done. Let's start working on the chocolate curls now, which I'll use to decorate my Black Forest cake. Now these might look slightly difficult but are actually very simple. I have some melted 70% dark chocolate here. I'm going to pour this on the back of my baking tray and then use an offset spatula to spread it into an even layer. I'm now going to pop this baking tray into my fridge for about 5 to 7 minutes until the chocolate sets and becomes firm. The chocolate has become firm. Now using a spoon, you just need to scrape that surface and what you'll get here are super cute chocolate curls. Once the curls are ready, put them in the fridge and store them there until we actually start working with them. Our next element is whipped cream, which we'll use to frost our cake. I have 2 cups of whipping cream here, which is chilled. I'm going to pour this into a bowl and then using my electric mixer, beat it until it reaches stiff peaks. Since I'm using whipping cream which is already sweetened, I'll not be adding any extra sugar to it. My cream has reached stiff peaks, which means I can set this aside as well. The other element that we need for the Black Forest cake is some chocolate ganache. For that, I have some finely chopped dark chocolate here. Onto this, I am going to pour half a cup of fresh cream which I've heated in my microwave for about 30 to 40 seconds. I let this sit for a few seconds and then mix it until the chocolate melts and I get a smooth and silky chocolate ganache. All our elements are ready and now it's time for the fun part, which is to assemble our Black Forest cake. I'm going to place the first layer of my chocolate sponge on the turntable and soak this with a couple of tablespoons of the cherry syrup that we'd made earlier. I'm making a well of whipped cream around the edges. And I'm going to fill this with the delicious and thick cherry filling that we'd made earlier. And now onto this, I am going to spread another generous layer of the whipped cream. And now all we need to do is to repeat the process with the other layers as well. I am also going to frost my cake with whipped cream on the top and the sides as well. I am happy with how the frosting is looking and it's now time to bring out those chocolate curls. I am simply going to use my fingers to press them onto the sides of my Black Forest cake. And for the top, I am going to pour the chocolate ganache. Just make sure it's completely cooled now, otherwise it'll melt your whipped cream. Using a piping bag attached with a large star tip, I am going to make swirls of whipped cream around the edges. And some fresh cherries will go on top. So there you have it, an absolutely stunning Black Forest cake. It's got 3 layers of chocolate sponge soaked in cherry syrup, a delicious cherry filling, lots of whipped cream, chocolate ganache and chocolate curls. This cake does take some patience and time, but trust me, it's perfect to make any special occasion even more special. So I hope you guys will try this recipe out and I can't wait to see your version of a Black Forest cake. I'll see you guys soon. Until then, happy baking and take care.